our sensations, our perceptions, our habits, and our consciousness, what we call fire aggregates, all keeps changing, and anything beyond ourselves are also changing. So that's and the whole Buddhist practice is based on that. If that is the case, how we should how we should relate to our life. How we should relate to the rest of the world, and that is the whole Buddhist practice is addressing that, and finding a way to accept it and live through it, and then deeply understand the what we call anicca. That's the Pali term, right? Anicca, for impermanence and in constant um, change, whatever way you call it. So, based on that, when we think about our life, we all are going through different changing circumstances in our life. And of course, during last year and this year, we experience it so much, how our life circumstances are changing, and we that's common reality for everyone. And whole life is about change. Right? And in fact, actually, if anything to be alive, it has to change. And in fact, actually, right? Yeah. And if it is not changing, the only thing that is not changed will be something dead. So very very fundamental part of being alive is changing. So it is we who choose certain changes are as good and certain changes are as bad, and then react to these changes in different ways. But otherwise, the whole inherent foundation of life is change, and then therefore we definitely, we are experiencing different changing circumstances. Our physical condition can be different. Uh, our maybe all our physical body is subject to change. Our physical conditions subject to change anytime, and our relationships are subject to change. There will be differences in our relationships. Some are, some maybe can be interpreted as better, some it can be interpreted as worse. But our relationships can be changed, and also our social environment can be changed too. With the pandemic, we realized that how changing can be the social condition, even like political changes, the changes in the environment, changes in the neighborhood, changes in the social environment, and even like general common attitudes of people. So there are so many things. We are in the mid of all these currents of change. Like physically we are changing, and of course mentally we are changing within us. Our immediate relationships are changing. The whole context, the whole social environmental context are also changing, and we are in a flow. Hopefully, it's not a flood. If it is flood, it's too much. But sometimes it can be flood too. But we are swimming through a flow. I mean, so many currents going through, and we are just moving through it. So what the teachings of the Buddha is are helping us to find a way to navigate with these currents, to like swim through these currents. And so yeah, that is what we need to be familiar with, and try to like develop some familiarity, and then some skills to understand this. And of course today is Father's Day. um, so when I think about my father, this the whole idea of change is very related to the story of my father. Both of us have lost our fathers, and when it comes to change, there are two types of changes that we experience in our life. One type of change is called planned change, that we desire a change, we want something to change, we plan it, we execute it, and then we achieve the result. So those changes, we are excited, and we look forward, we want to have it. planned changes. But there are also other changes, what we can call unplanned changes, maybe unexpected changes. And those things, we don't plan it, we don't expect it, but it comes. So I think our issue is how to handle, how to deal with these unexpected or unplanned changes. Unplanned changes. So, I think we both had this experience of unplanned changes, and I think your father passed away when you are still a university student.
Maybe
After
when I
that,
was teaching in university in
university,
2012, yeah.
yeah, after the university,
Mm.
right? Yeah. And I just want to share. I mean, so we can understand how things are happening without our expectations, and changes can occur anytime. So in my case, actually, when I was studying in the university, and those days, my mom gave me a call and told me that my father had a stroke, and he had no signs of any stroke. He was just 54 years old, and quite active, and but didn't have any thing and unplanned, unplanned, and unfortunately he got the stroke when he was sleeping. That made it worse. That until the morning, and my mother didn't know that he was. My mother thought that he was sleeping. So because he got a stroke in the night, because we came to know about it much later. By the time we bring him to the hospital, by the time he get the actual real treatment, most of his brain is dead. So fortunately, he survived, but he was severely paralyzed. So unplanned. The whole, of course, I am a monk, so I'm not directly living with. I mean, I'm not living with my parents, but I'm living in my monastery. But my mother, my brother, and my sister, their life was upside down, because father is the one who's the leader of the family and carrying everything. Unplanned, but we had to adapt to it, right? We had to adapt to it. And what really happened, what I saw after my father's paralyzed, that my mother's energy, and she came forward as a very forceful woman, and she took the responsibility of taking care of my father. And also my sister was working at that time, but my brother was still studying, and he took care of both of them, and took the whole responsibility as a woman. And so her coming up as a strong woman was something that I saw. And she still managed. She still managed, and my father lived for 13 years after paralyzed, and he has to be attended to everything that he needed to do. Um, and and then of course after 13 years, and I was invited to go and give a teachings to a group of Buddhists in Malaysia. So before I went to Malaysia, I was in my temple. I went to see my father and my parents, and tell them that I'm going for this teaching tour. So I talked to my father, and my father could not speak well. He can speak few words, uh, because he was his vocal cord, and everything is damaged there. But he can listen. He can understand. So I told him I'm going there, and I tied him a blessing strings, and he was normal. And then I went to Malaysia, and after 2 days, I got a call from my master saying that my father passed away. Completely unexpected, unplanned. I had to cancel the teachings and had to come back. So today is the Father's Day, right? So when we talk about changing circumstances in our life, you know, I have my experience with my father is all these unexpected changes. So by the time that I became the adult monk, and my father is gone. But of course he saw my coming up, but he's, I mean, but I mean, adapting to this changing circumstance in our life is real a challenge. And same with you, Bante, right? Yeah. And how old was your father when he passed away?
He was 72 years old.
Or 72 years old. So how we can deal with these things, right? So it can happen internally, it can happen externally, it can happen socially. Yeah. Of course, we know Sachin has one experience, and Heather had similar experience, and who else? I mean, all of us uh, had those experiences, and we are also going to have similar experiences. And how we can deal with it. One common way that people deal with these things, that some people try to hide themselves. I mean, it's too much for people to really to take too much. So they try to hide, they try to escape. So it's even some people can be in denial, even in their own health conditions, or even other changes, maybe escaping and maybe distracting themselves from these real situations. So that is how when people use alcohol and maybe other drugs to kind of distract themselves, and and then not to confront these situations. That's one way. One way we deal with it, and there's another way too. Sometimes we resist. We get angry. We resist, but change is so big, we really cannot reverse it, and as a result we get angry. That's the other way. Instead of either hiding it or escaping it or numbing oneself, or maybe fighting and angry and shouting. And that's another way that we deal with these changing circumstances in our life. But are these the only way to deal with that? Those are common ways. We may need start our reaction in that way, our response in that way, but with the teachings of the Buddha, with our own reflections, and with we can understand there's a better way. There's a better way to deal with them. So that's what we need to be familiar with. I think issue is that whenever we experience a change in circumstance, could be relationship breakup, maybe a loss of a job, or maybe physical condition, maybe diagnosis with an illness, or any types of change. Whenever we encounter such a change, the issue is that we either feel we have a feeling of loss, that I had this, now I'm losing it, or we have fear of uncertainty. What I'm going to do now? How I'm going to manage this without him or her? How I'm going to manage this with this physical condition? So how I'm going to manage this without this, help, whatever. So either we will focus on the past and comparing the present condition to the past. That I had this, now I don't have, and have this feeling of loss. Or we have, when you think about the future, what we experience is fear, uncertainty. So those are the two things that will go back and forth. Either we'll go to sadness and feeling lost and depressed, or we have fear and anxiety, and uncertainty. And those will be the emotions that we will go back and forth generally. So now let us focus on what are the skills that we can learn to deal with this condition, because we are sure to go through these things, right? And everyone, not only us, but everyone has to go through these situations. One thing that can maybe help us is that, based on the teachings of the Buddha, to maybe deeply understand and then do a constant reminder to ourselves and keep reflecting of the fact that the change is a part of life. Of course, there are certain things we don't expect. But if you have a habit of contemplating and reflecting, reminding yourself that anything can change at any time. Right? We have a saying that anything can anything can happen under the sun, right? What is that phrase, right? Anything can happen under the sun, right? Anything can change under the sun. Yes, Nancy.
I like the idea when you think about it, if nothing changed, then we would never have come into being.
Definitely. Yeah.
We wouldn't be.
Yeah. Exactly. So then if we have that habit of constant reminder, I think whenever we offer flowers, if you remember the verse that we recite when we offer flowers, we recite two verses, right? But the first one is we offer the flowers to the Buddha, and in second verse we are doing a contemplation. Yeah, Bante, do you remember the second verse?
About the flower, the Pupa Milaya,
Yeah, Pujami Buddha.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe we'll invite Bante to chant it. Right?
The whole stanza.
No, the Pujami Buddha.
Okay.
Pujami Buddha.
Pujimi Buddhang Kusumine Nine.
Punyina, yeah.
Punyine Mitine Labhami Mokang Pumpang Milayati Yatha Idammi Kayu Tathayati Vinase Bhavang.
Thank you, Bante. So I offer these flowers to the Buddha. Pujaya Buddhang Kusuminanena. Punyena eten labai mokkang. By the power of these meritorious deeds, may I be close to the enlightenment. Pupang milayat yatha idami. Just like these flowers are withering, these flowers are decaying. Kayo tathayati vinasbhavam. So is my body. My body will also decay and be withered one day. So I don't know whether we reflect that in that way, when we offer flowers every time. But of course, you offer flowers, and we both clean the altar. So you see the beauty of the flowers. We both can see what's going to happen to those flowers at the end. And every day I clean these, vases and clean these flowers. It's really that's the reality, right? And these beautiful flowers are beautiful and they are nice and they have that taste. But just when it continues, those so fragrant, beautiful, colorful flowers, what would be the end of that, right? And that's how all we are, right? And then those flowers, and Bante has a compost tank over there. So we put all our flowers in the compost tank, and one day those flowers can be fertilizer for another flower to grow. That's our life, right? That is our life. And so these beautiful things will not remain. They're beautiful now, but they don't remain. We know that for our own experience, right? One thing. Yeah. So that's the reality of life.
Yeah. In a very quick moment, we see the beauty, Bante, right? And still now we can see the beauty of the flowers that we offered earlier before our lunch. Even tomorrow we can come and we see the same with our naked eye, but there is something happened, some changing happened, Bante, right?
Exactly.
But we have stopped in that only that beauty. I think that is the problem.
Right? Yeah.
In that quick moment, we have stopped and we expect.
We create a mental image of the beautiful flowers,
yeah.
And we want that flowers to stay like that. Yeah.
We expect that image all the time.
Yeah. So the change is constant. It is we who don't discern it. We only see the change when the drastic changes are happening. But actually, it's always there. Yeah, it's always there. So, so one way to deal with this is actually to embrace change. Embrace change. And then that just like when we contemplate when you're for flowers, and have that contemplation every morning, wake up and be grateful, and we appreciate that it's still he's still these things are here. It is possible that these things will not be here. It's entirely possible. And then develop the appreciation and then have this contemplation that is possible. And so whenever these things happen, actually they will not become a complete surprise. Still they will shock us deeply. And of course, I can, even though every morning we do that contemplation, if unexpected change happen, I personally will be shocked. But there's a gravity to that shock, right? So maybe we can minimize that shock. So when we have that reminder to ourselves that anything can change, our life situations can be different at any time, we will not live in the same way, for long. We will not live the same way for long. And when we have that reflection, whenever changes happen, it will not be completely unexpected. We may not expect the specific way that it is coming, but we have some kind of prepared mind. It will not be that shocking. So at least we have some endurance for that kind of changing circumstances. We kind of knew it in a way, not the exact way it will come, but we knew it some way. So it helps us to deal with it, not to be so depressed or so denial, or and not so fearful, but just we'll have that stability in the bottom of our mind. So that's one way we can do it. We can deal with it. So nothing can be fully planned in our life. That's what we are learning these days, Bhante, right? Of course, we should have plans. We should have plans in our life. We should, forecast and plan things. But with understanding that nothing can be planned, nothing can be completely planned in our life. So when we make plans, we can do it, we can plan it, but at the same time, in our mind, we should give some rooms for unexpected things to happen. We started renovating our new center, right, Bhante, with a plan, with a plan that we will be able to maybe start our first movie during Vesak, right, Bhante? That was our plan, right, during Vesak, and by July we'll be maybe our shrine room will be there, and so we had that plan, paced out for different months. But when you really start the project, there are so many other conditions. The pandemic has stopped so many materials and so many materials. Right? So many materials are not available, and workers are very busy. And we have to follow their agenda, their timetable, not our timetable. And of course, there are permissions that we need to get from authorities, and so we really can't plan in that way. So we only can have a general idea, general plan. It's okay to plan, but not with the expectation that these things will happen exactly the way we plan. We plan, but with some room in the mind. Okay, if any plan is 80% successful, I think that's a great. Yes. Yeah, it's already great. So whenever we plan something, if 20% is not the way we want it to be, we are still successful. Because sometimes it's going to be even 50%, right? And less than that. So any plan is only successful at most 80%. That is all good. That should be good enough for us. So we had to have that kind of openness. Our expectation has to be a little loose. The more strict are the expectation, the more frustrations and suffering we are going to have.
I just remembered the verse one in the Dhammapada, the well-known verse, the Gatha, Achintitampi bhavati, chintitampi vinasati.
Yeah.
Right?
There's a statement, Achinitami Bhavati, whatever we think that whatever we think will happen will not happen. Achinitami,
Bhavati,
yeah.
chintitampi vinasati.
Okay. What's going to happen is thing that we never think of, we didn't expect. But whatever we think is going to not happen, will not happen. I think the issue is actually, the reason is not with the world actually, Bhante, how we think, how we expect.
Yeah.
Because we expect against the reality.
Yeah.
Therefore, whatever we plan, we expect. If you have a habit of planning against the reality, definitely that they are not going to happen. Yeah. Yes. So, but having that understanding is important, right, Bhante?
Yeah.
So we plan things, we have general idea, we prepare ourselves, but definitely things are going to fall into fall apart, and things will not happen the way we plan. But that's okay. That's okay. We have some room for that. Yeah. And the end result, even we talk about planned change. No, even the plan changed. Let's say we plan a change. We plan to move to some place. We plan to leave our job and get a new job. And we plan to marry to someone. Or maybe we plan to have a child, whatever. So we planned changes. Even though we planned our changes, the results is always going to be a little unexpected. So even the plan change can bring unexpected results. And of course, unexpected change is going to bring us definitely unexpected results. So I think the first skill, first way we can deal with this, like embracing it and have that contemplation, have that preparedness, have that mental preparedness, and then appreciate whatever we have right now, and then having the mental preparedness.
Remember not to be attached to not be attached.
Yes, your plans can be your guidelines, but not something that you should attach and you should like create some identity and ownership to it, right? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's a good point. Okay, the second technique we can use is actually use any unexpected changes in our life as an opportunity to grow, to learn and to grow. Definitely those things are difficult. Unexpected changes, of course, my passing of my father is difficult. And of course, there are so many other unexpected changes, and all unexpected changes are painful, difficult. But they are not necessarily, they don't have to be like negative all the time. Any unexpected changes can be an opportunity. We can find a way to like it's put us to a point that we had to do something about it. I mean, just like in the case of my mother, she had no choice. She had to come forward. So it gave her an opportunity to use all her strength, all her ability, all her intellect, everything to plan everything for the rest of the family. So any unexpected changes in our life is actually pushing us beyond our comfort zones, really challenging us. But it's kind of someone is throwing us to the water. Now you have to swim. Yeah. So of course, if it's not deep water, if it is shallow water, at least you will learn somewhat to swim, right? Or if it's deep water, it's so difficult. So I think we need to understand that that is a kind of good look at that. It's painful, it's difficult, but there should be something here that I can learn. There should be some area that I can grow. I can make use of this change. So in a way, kind of produce what we call the new normal. New normal. Of course, the pandemic. Pandemic is so difficult. So difficult. But then even with the limited period, we can find, okay, so now we have to do something, how what I can learn, how we can grow. So as Pittsburgh Buddhist Center, we grew. So we have all this online streaming now, and all our programs are online now. Many people are watching us through YouTube and Zoom, right, Bante? And we discover all this possibility, and Bante was using all different techniques to record them, and so it was difficult. It was unexpected, but we found a way to grow. And now we have a children's meditation that many children from all over this country are joining us. So any of our changes can be like that. It's painful, definitely, but we can find a way to accommodate it, and also find a way to grow and learn and grow. So I think it will be easy for us if we can focus on one little thing at a time. When this changing, our life situations are changing, it changes a lot. The change is so powerful. Change can be so powerful. If you try to correct everything at one time, it will be difficult. We may not be able to solve all the problems at once. Maybe we can focus one little thing at a time that we can adjust. One at a time, one small thing that we can focus, and we can focus and so focus on things that we can do something, and not focus on things that we cannot do. So we use our energy not to worry about what we cannot fix, but actually to use our energy to whatever little changes that we can do, whatever things that we can do. So the one important thing to remember is that whenever we are in a different situation, after drastic changes to our life, we are in a new circumstance in our life, we should never compare our new normal to our previous lives. We should never compare it with, because that's a different life. Now, after loss of this job, after the change of this situation, after without this person, now it is a completely new life, new in itself. If we start to compare that new normal, new life with the previous ones, we are going to feel sad and upset. And we need to focus on here, and then try to find a meaning in this new normal, and try to find a way to grow that. That can help. I think I really like this example is coming from Japanese culture. Yes, so Kyoko can help us. There's a Japanese art called kintsugi. Kintsugi.
The one that paint with the gold when the ceramic plates.
Exactly. Yes, Kyoko. Yeah, kintsugi is a Japanese art when the ceramics and when any pot has breaks, has any rupture, any cracks. And in the this is an art. Instead of hiding the crack, they use some kind of lacquer mixed with gold powder, and then fix and fill it, and so it become a part of the ceramic. So it is an art. So every rupture, every break, every cracks, it gives an opportunity to fill it with gold. And there are ceramics, right? In Japan, there are beautiful ceramics. They are very beautiful, but they had cracks. And then the people have filled it with gold dust. And now it has a different beauty.
It's difficult to do in real life.
Definitely. What is easy? What is easy in real life? Right? Yeah. But so our scars are not something to be hidden. You don't hide. You don't have to hide your scars. And so, I think that the Japanese art is telling us a very important lesson, kintsugi, that using whatever unexpected changes in our life as an opportunity for us to grow a new skill, maybe grow and try to find new way of being. And those ceramics had cracks, but they are filled with gold mix lacquer, gold mix paste. Now it has a new beauty. So instead of hiding those things, we embrace it and try to find a way to like find a new meaning in it. Yeah. The last technique we can use is actually um, to whenever those changes happen in our life, reach out to others. And whenever difficult change, whenever drastic changes happen in our life, sometimes we tend to like be ourselves. We don't want to be bothersome to anyone. So we think that I should manage this, I should handle this. So I just give me some time. I will close my door and give me some time. I will fix it and come back. That's what many people are willing to do, particularly in this culture where we encourage individualism or encourage independence, which is a good thing. Being independent is a good thing, but as human beings, I mean, independence is a delusion, and we know that. We talk in the morning that we breathe each other's breath, so we are so connected. We are so connected. We are all dependent on each other. Yeah, so of course we can have some independent, like then we can help others. But whenever we are in pain, whenever we are suffering, whenever we are experiencing drastic changes in our life, we should be humble enough to reach out to others. It's okay. It's okay, and of course, I'm not asking you to like go around and tell everybody, but you have your circle of people, your family, your beloved friends, your monks, right, Bante? Yeah, your monks and your the Dhamma friends, and that is a very big resource for us to go through these changes and use it, and feel free and be humble and talk to them and spend time with them, and don't think that it is a burden to others. Of course, there can be moments that our sharing of our suffering can be a burdensome for some people, but for many people are willing to listen to us, and don't prejudge that it will be a burden to others, because our asking help from others is an opportunity that we are giving to them to do good. We are giving them an opportunity to be kind. We are giving them an opportunity to do good by asking help, and at least and going to them and telling. So we should not be afraid of it, and we should be humble and go out and share and reach out to others. That's very important thing to remember. So communal healing. When Kisa Gautami, the mother who lost her only child, when she came to the Buddha, and Buddha asked her to go and find some mustard seed from the community. Of course, from a house that nobody has passed away. So of course, she didn't get the message first, but she went out to the world, went out to the society, went out to the homes. So she's going to the homes and asking mustard seed from every household. We don't know how many homes that she visited and how many homes she shared her pain. I had a child, he's severely ill, almost dead, and I'm looking for medicine for that baby. And of course, she's at the same time she's also learning that there are mustard seed in all houses, but every house has someone who has passed away in the past. But being with that community and sharing her loss with this community is so healing. It's so healing. Yes.
Isn't it the purpose, Bante, that when you share it with somebody, you kind of understand that it is inherent and it's not just me, but it has happened to many others and many times. So
Exactly. So that's what whenever you share your pain and your loss or your change with someone, and that person has her or his own story to tell us. That kind of help us to have to accept it, a universality of this situation, right? I think the problem comes when you think about like why me, yeah, why me, why this happened to me only. But when you talk to others, you realize that actually this is the experience of everyone, and it is universal, it's common, so it's helpful to accept it. Yeah, that is true. Thank you. And so there's a famous saying by our beloved Pittsburghian Fred Rogers. And anybody remember? Fred Rogers has he has beautiful quotes. One is saying that always look for helpers. Always look for helpers. You will always find people who are helping. Actually, this is what Fred Rogers heard from her mom when she was a small child, but he still remembered it, and he promoted that idea, like always ask for help. There will always be people who are helping. All people may not be able to help us, but there will always be people who are helping if you keep asking. So we should not be afraid of asking help. Of course, we are not saying that we rely on others for everything that we want, but whenever we are in trouble, whenever we have difficulty, don't afraid of asking for help. At least don't afraid of sharing your pain with others. There will always be people who are helping. So even though they may not be able to help, but simply listen, simply being able to tell our problems, tell our pain to someone else can give us a new perspective of our own situation. When you share it with others, it can help us to have a new perspective. So unplanned change are going to come anytime in our life. It's common for everyone. Let us be prepared for that. Let us do kintsugi with that. The art of repairing the pots. And then let us use this as an opportunity to grow. And many of our skills, our strength has come out because of a sudden change. So let us do that. So now I would like you to take some time to think about one of your most recent unexpected change that you encountered. Can you take a moment to think about? Of course, we experience change all the time, but some changes are planned change and some changes are unplanned changes. Can you think about your most recent experience of unplanned change? Maybe people who are joining us through Zoom and YouTube, take a moment to think about your most recent unplanned change. I think Bante Myth and our experience are quite same, right, Bante?
Yeah.
Yeah. Unplanned change, the delay of the renovations. Yeah. And, but you can think about, maybe a severe, drastic change. Maybe a minor change, unexpected change. So now maybe you take time to maybe share with someone else and next to you. So, share, what was your unplanned, what did you experience as your unplanned change in recent months? Take a moment to share. And people who are joining us from YouTube and Zoom, you can actually use your chat option, chat box, and please type us if you are comfortable to share it with us. Anybody? Yeah, just be open, be humble, and just what was your most recent unexpected change? Please write your unexpected change. People joining from YouTube and Zoom in your chat box. What unplanned change you experienced during the last few months? Nothing. Maybe,
Just, I don't really have anything. Really much. Anything new?
Well, that's related to my.
Yeah. That's new.
But I wasn't
Not really. I mean, we haven't really been
I don't think I should say denial at all. It was paper work on and you know, like maybe I was asking why me, but then
Yeah.
you think so try to understand the
I guess it's different in this country.
when you come right, still do it, still time. And then I still then also, you know,
I didn't realize.
I'm making music.
Normally, you know,
I'm the one who's glad that is and I guess this is the change,
chat box ba manhatin we can give you one more minute to conclude the discussion. Okay, just take 1 minute. So we have one sharing from our Zoom. Bante, who is sharing with us? Yeah. Maybe can anyone come and help us to read? Can you read? Yes, thank you. Yeah. So, okay, the other computer. So let's start with Adrian, right? Yeah. Thank you for giving your,
Use the mouse.
so we are going to read, your unplanned, unexpected change, Adrian. Yeah. So,
Adrian.
yes.
Adrian says, "Hello, everyone. During these pandemic times that have been filled with so very many unexpected changes for all of us, my husband of 23 years experienced a deeply suppressed experience of gender dysphoria that has now led to his transition into presenting and living life as a transgender female. This unexpected change is having deep impact upon many. I am moving through this change as a supportive partner and choose to be like water, remaining fluid, open, and willing with a foundation of boundless love and spaciousness of spirit. Through this, I too am transitioning in the most unexpected ways. While this path is challenging, it is also marked by wonder, curiosity, and little glimmers of unexpected joy."
Thank you, Adrian. Thank you for sharing that. So we talked about it. It's a really difficult. It's a real challenge, real drastic change. But I think they both of them are so understanding and so empathic to each other, and they are really managing it well. Yeah. I talked with a former husband. I don't know now what she called it. Jessica, yeah. Thank you, Adrian, for sharing that. It's something that we all can learn from, right? And ability to adapt. Yeah. So we have another one, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Teruan Sarani?
Saranai. Yeah.
Saranai?
Yeah.
When there is
This is the Deepani, right? Yeah. This is Deepani. Yeah. Yeah.
When there is a change in my life or surrounding, I look at it as it is part of living. Dharmatawa.
Hmm.
It took a long time for me to come to this stage, and it has been a habit. Every situation is different.
Thank you, Deepani Nona, for sharing that. Yeah. Yeah, we only have two. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Heather. So let us conclude this with some reflection, some meditation, and chanting. I think now we have, I hope that by sharing your own stories, you kind of learn from each other, and also from sharing from Adrian and Deepani Nona, we also have some deep empathy and also realization about how changing can be our life. So let's take a moment to do a short contemplation, and then we will do a blessing chant at the end. So I'm going to ring this bell, and we will do a deep contemplation on the impermanence, on the inconstant nature of our life, and how our life is like a flow, and we have to learn to move through this current of change. So use the sound of the bell to settle yourself and come to this present moment. Let us bring our whole attention to this posture. Just take a moment to observe how this body is sitting here right now. where our body touches now, and how much clothes do we feel right now. Just let your mind to be free from all thoughts, all concerns and memories, and just use these sensations of the body to be simple, to be present right here and now with a simple mind. What truly exists right now are these sensations in our body. Simple sensation of touching, warmth, pressed muscles. This is only happening right now. With this awareness of the body, let us bring our whole attention to our breath and feeling the movement of the breath through our nostrils and feeling the movement of the breath through our nostrils in its way out. Today, let us try to contemplate the impermanent, inconstant nature of the breath, and from there, the impermanent and inconstant nature of our whole life. Each breath brings a change to this body. In each breath, we bring a new air particles to our body. In each out breath, we release the air particles to the environment. With each breath, there are so many changes happening in the body. Our body is never the same, even for a moment. It keeps changing, renewing itself, adjusting. Let us develop this attitude of acceptance to this change. Instead of resisting the changes that we don't expect, let us understand that these changes are inevitable. These changes teach us so many things. And this is an opportunity to learn the letting go, this is an opportunity to grow. Look at your whole being here like a flow. Just like the breath keeps going in and out, everything is changing in a constant flow. Deeply understanding this and deeply accepting this can help us to release ourselves from bondages, from suffering. Sabbe sankhara anicchati yada panyaya pasnsati athanim bindati dukkhe esa maggo visuddhya. Sabbe sankhara dukkhati yada panyaya pasnsati atha nibbindati dukkhe esa maggo visuddhya. Sabbe dhamma anattati yada panyaya pasnsati atha nibbindati dukkhe esa maggo visuddhya. Gently come out of the meditation and gently put your palms together and place them against your chest. Let us take a moment to feel grateful for this opportunity to practice meditation in our life. Feel grateful to all great teachers in the past. Feel grateful to anyone who helped our practice. Feel grateful to this device that helped us to connect with this meditation, and to this cushion, this chair that we are sitting on, and even to this bell. With deep gratitude to all people and all things that made this meditation possible for us today, including this air conditioning machine. Let us say sadhu 3 times. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Yeah, bring it down. Yeah. Bring it down. Yeah. We will do our blessing chant, and we really want to thank you for coming here on the Father's Day. And we want to wish you all the blessings to each and every one of you, and even to people who join us from Zoom and from YouTube. And thank you very much. Thank you, Nick. Thank you, Adrian. Thank you, Deepani, Nona, and anyone else who is joining us from YouTube. Thank you very much. We will chant for you too, and we wish that let us focus our mind on our living fathers and think about them today, and let us wish them well-being. Let us wish them good health. Let us wish them strength and courage to continue their beautiful lives, and may they all receive our blessings, and may they be well and happy. With that wish, we will chant. May all of you receive these blessings. May all of you be well, happy, and peaceful. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Karaniya matta kusalena yantang santang padang abhisamicca sakko jocha sojocha soacho chansa mudu anatimani santos sakocha subharoche ampakitjocha sallahu kravunti Sandrindriyocha nipakocha ampakambo kulesu ananugindo nacha kundang samachari kinchina vinyu pari upavadiyong sakino vake mino hontu sabbe satta bhavantu sakitanta eke cipan bhutanti tasavata varava anavasesadigawa ye mahantava majjimarassakanukatula dittava eva addittayi chadure vasanti avidure bhutava sambhavesi vasabbe satta bhavantu sukhitatana paro parang nikumbete nati
มังอิเตกัตตจินังคันเจปยารสนาปฏิกสัญญานาญญมัญญสดุขมิจเจมาตายตานิยังพุตตังอายุสาเอกพุตตมนุรักเกเอวัมปิสัพพะพุเตสุมาเนสังภาวะเยอปริมาณังเมตตังเจสัพพะโลกัสมิงมาเนสังภาวะเยอปริมาณังวุตตังอโตจติริยังเจอสังบาดังอวิรังอสปัตตังติตตังจารังนิสินโนวาสยานุวายาวตัสสะวิกตมิตโตเอตังสติงอดิตเตเยบรหมเมตังวิหารังอิดมาโหติติงเจอนุปกัมมสีเลวาดัสสนีนสัมปันโนกามิสุวินิยเกทังไนจาตุกัปปสิยังปุนเรติติเอเตนะสัจจวัจเจนะสุตติเตโหตุสัพพดาเอเตนะสัจจวัจเจนะสัพพโรโกวินาศสตุเอเตนะสัจจวัจเจนะโหตุเตจายมังกลังสัมปิติโยวิวัจจันตุสัพพโรโกวินาศสตุมาเตภวัตตันตรายโยสุขีดีกายุโกภวะภวตุสัพพมังกลังรักขันตุสัพพเทวตาสัพพพุทธานุภาเวนะสดาสุติภวันตุเตภวตุสัพพมังกลังรักขันตุสัพพเทวตาสัพพธัมมานุภาเวนะสดาสุติภวันตุเตภวตุสัพพมังกลังรักขันตุสัพพเทวตาสัพพสังฆานุภาเวนะสดาสุติภวันตุเต
Dino, kamu dino, kamu dino. Kangwan berbagi materi dino ada. Kangwan itu berbagi dino. Sudret dengan misalnya, sudret. Arah madi jalan, ane atri iya betul. Ya. Aktif sama. Kau deh. Ya, oh ternyata. Nah, Taiwan lagi kerla. Okay, we are now going to dedicate all this ceremony, all these blessings, all these merits that we generated today to all our fathers. And we know that many of our fathers have passed away, including both of our fathers. And my father passed away in the month of June, June 16. And so I'm thinking about him this month. And Satya Nona's father passed away just recently, and Lihini and Hansini, Nona's father, also passed away suddenly, unexpectedly. So let us think about all of them. And we will dedicate all of our merits to our great fathers. And thinking about them on this Father's Day, may they all receive these good merits, and may they all receive this wholesome energy that we are sharing with them, and may they feel our loving kindness, and may they be able to find peace and happiness wherever they may be. With these thoughts, let us now pour the water. Yeah, Kyoko, you
Yes.
can come and take the jug. Yeah, let him know. Yeah. Okay, while pouring the water, please recite after me. Idang me nyati nang hotu sukita huntu nyatayo. Idang me nyati nang hotu sukita huntu nyatayo. Idang me nyati nang hotu sukita huntu nyatayo. Yata varivaha pura paripurenti sagarang evameva ito dinnang petanang upakampati unnami udakang vantang yata ninnang pavantati evameva ito dinnang petanang upakampati. Let us also share these merits with all living beings. If there's any being in this world, any divine being, any visible or invisible beings, may they all share these merits. If there's anyone who cannot make merits for themselves, may they share our merits. May all living beings share our merits. May all living beings be well, happy, and peaceful. Let us recite together. Ettavata cha amhi sambhatam punya sampadam sabbe deva anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya sabbe bhuta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya Sabbe satta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you, everyone. Those who joined our Zoom and YouTube, thank you very much for joining us. We look forward to see you again in one of our meditations or any other event, right? Yeah. Thank you, and wish you a great week ahead. Yeah, thank you. And others, please come for blessing strings.